This podcast is for informational purposes only and does not constitute financial advice. Consult with a qualified professional before making any investment decisions.
Welcome to the Wire Weekly Roundup, the week in real estate presented in digestible bites. Hold on while our AI hosts take us on another ride through this week's top real estate headlines.
Okay, let's unpack this. Is the traditional real estate agent facing an inevitable takeover by AI? That's not just, a clickbait headline. It seems to be the provocative core of so many conversations in the real estate world right now, and it's exactly what we're plunging into today. We've seen this question pop up everywhere, really driving a lot of the week's biggest discussions.
Yeah, absolutely. What's fascinating here is how quickly the narrative around AI and real estate is evolving, and how much is truly at stake. For this deep dive, we've pulled from a whole stack of diverse sources published specifically between August 4th and 9th, 2025. Our mission isn't just to, list facts. It's to extract the most important nuggets of knowledge and maybe some surprising facts that really illuminate the current state and future of real estate investing, especially as it relates to this pretty powerful technological shift.
Yeah, absolutely. Think of this as your shortcut to truly understanding what's happening in a rapidly evolving field. We're here to give you those aha moments about what's actually going on without the usual information overload. From the nuanced shifts in market trends to, the profound implications of technology on pretty much every facet of the industry, we're setting the stage for some major shifts that you really need to be aware of. So let's jump right into that central provocative question that kicked us off: is your agent toast? On one hand, we've seen the idea that AI adoption is, quote, inevitable for investors, as BiggerPockets put it on August 7th. That sounds pretty definitive, doesn't it?
It does.
But is it truly that simple? Or are we perhaps overstating AI's current capabilities in what has always been a very human-centric industry?
That's a critical question. And interestingly, Real Estate News from August 5th offers a strong counterpoint. They suggest AI is likely not to outright replace real estate agents. Now, this isn't just a simple disagreement. It points to a crucial distinction that, our sources highlight. Is AI merely automating lower value tasks, freeing agents up for higher touch, more complex interactions?
Right.
Or is it fundamentally shifting the very definition of what a real estate agent is?
That distinction is key. And despite that debate about replacement, the industry itself seems to be really embracing AI. Major players are making significant moves. Real Estate News reported on August 9th that Keller Williams, KW, is turning the spotlight on AI after a year of substantial change. It sounds like they're really leaning in.
Oh, they are. Specifically, they're looking at how AI can automate tasks like lead qualification, maybe personalized client outreach through chatbots, even predictive analytics for market trends. This isn't about replacing the agent necessarily, but about making them much more efficient. You see this echoed for investors too. BiggerPockets, back on August 4th, emphasized that smarter property management starts with smarter tools. That clearly indicates AI's growing role in streamlining those back-end operations.
Right, the efficiency angle. Now, speaking of agents, the landscape is definitely in flux, but it's not all, doom and gloom for the human side. Real Estate News on August 9th noted agent gains at Real Remax, and then Real Brokerage was apparently on a roll with record revenue and agent count as of August 7th. So there's clearly growth happening alongside these AI discussions.
True, but it's not without its challenges, especially for newer entrants. Real Estate News, again, on August 6th, observed that fewer younger agents are holding on amid market headwinds. That speaks to some of the pressures within the profession right now, where the learning curve is steep and market conditions are, tough.
And crucially, that human element still holds immense, often maybe undervalued importance. Keeping Current Matters pointed out on August 7th why selling without an agent can cost you more than you think. The insight here isn't just about avoiding a bad deal. It's about the nuanced value of human negotiation, market foresight, that emotional intelligence. Things that AI at its current stage simply can't replicate. It's about getting the best deal, not just any deal. Right?
Precisely. Exactly. Now, moving beyond the AI discussion for a moment, let's decode some crucial market dynamics because they're having a very immediate impact. A big story this week from Realty Times on August 4th detailed a significant drop in mortgage rates, down to a 10-month low, which is, upping purchasing power in a buyer-friendly market. That's huge for potential homeowners.
Yeah.
And it definitely shifts the energy.
And that trend continued through the week, which is even more compelling, isn't it?
It did.
Mortgage reports in Realty Times on August 7th and 8th noted that rates continued to decrease and actually hit a 4-month low. So this is a sustained positive movement.
And the immediate effect of these easing rates was pretty clear. Mortgage applications tick up in July as rates ease slightly, according to Ion Housing on August 6th. What's interesting, though, is that this uptick happened despite an overall weaker demand for residential mortgages in the second quarter, which Ion Housing reported on August 8th. It suggests that while there's maybe some underlying caution, easier rates can still definitely draw people off the sidelines.
But despite that cautious optimism, the broader economic outlook from Goldman Sachs, reported by CNBC on August 4th, predicts housing to remain the weakest part of the economy in the second half. Yeah. So, even with rates easing, that forecast from a major player like Goldman tells us there's still a significant headwind to contend with.
Yeah, that's a big one. If we connect this to the bigger picture of investment and market trends, there's a lot to consider. We saw discussions about the potential for Fannie and Freddie to go public soon, as highlighted by Real Estate News on August 8th.
Right.
Remember, these are the government-sponsored enterprises. They back trillions in mortgages. Their privatization could completely reshape the mortgage ecosystem, potentially impacting everything from borrowing costs to loan availability for years.
And the housing supply crisis continues to be a major theme, doesn't it? Ion Housing on August 6th discussed the concept of the suburban frontier closing. What this means for you listening is that the traditional, easy-to-develop land on the fringes of cities is getting scarce. That puts pressure on prices, forces developers to look at infill or, more creative solutions within existing communities.
And we also saw an unusual flip of median home prices, where old outpaces new, reported by Real Estate News on August 4th.
That is unusual.
It really is. A fascinating reversal of typical trends. It suggests that existing homes, maybe because of location, character, or just the cost of new construction, are holding or even gaining value more rapidly than newly built ones. Could point to a shift in buyer preferences or maybe renovation trends.
Okay, on a truly surprising note, and honestly, who saw this coming? CNBC on August 9th reported on the surprising rebound of America's dying shopping malls. It really challenges that whole retail apocalypse narrative, doesn't it?
Right.
What do you think is driving that?
It absolutely does. Our sources suggest it's less about a return to traditional retail and more about adaptive reuse. Many are transforming into mixed-use spaces, offering experiential retail, entertainment, sometimes even housing.
Oh.
It's a testament to how physical real estate can adapt to changing consumer habits. And in more specific market segments, Ion Housing on August 7th and 4th pointed to an increase in multifamily developer confidence and also student housing construction in Q2 2025. These are niche areas showing targeted growth, likely driven by demographic shifts.
Interesting. Now, a truly notable discussion from Bigger Pockets on August 6th involved President Trump's idea of eliminating capital gains taxes on home sales. I mean, if that were to ever happen, it could drastically alter the motivation for buying and selling homes. Might spur a lot more activity, though, of course, it's just a proposal right now.
Exactly, just a proposal. And we also saw this phenomenon of accidental landlords reshaping housing markets across the country. Bigger Pockets explored that on August 4th. This refers to homeowners who, maybe because of a job move or market conditions, choose to rent out their primary home instead of selling. It significantly impacts the local rental supply.
Right.
And for any investor listening, Bigger Pockets on August 8th underscored the critical importance of understanding vacancy gaps for protecting your returns. A vacancy gap isn't just an empty unit, it's that period between tenants that represents lost income that can quickly erode your annual profits and cash flow. Smart investors track this stuff closely.
Definitely. Pivoting now to industry shifts and the legal landscape, there have been some interesting developments for brokerages. Opendoor, for instance, the iBuyer company, has seen a recent turnaround. Revenue jumps and the delisting threat ends after a July stock surge, according to CNBC and Real Estate News on August 4th and 5th. Given the struggles of the iBuyer model in recent years, this feels like a significant validation of their strategy, maybe.
It really is a bit of a comeback story for Opendoor. And in other brokerage news, Real Estate News on August 6th noted that LPT Realty reached a major milestone in its IPO lead-up. These are significant moments in the competitive landscape, signaling shifts in power and maybe new opportunities for investors.
And the legal battles are also keeping the industry on its toes. HOME is attempting to revive an antitrust case against NAR, that's the National Association of Realtors. Real Estate News reported that on August 8th. This case challenges some longstanding rules around agent commissions, how listings are shared.
Right.
Could have ripple effects across the entire brokerage landscape, potentially changing how you pay for or receive real estate services.
And in response to that challenging legal environment, NAR has added a seasoned litigator, a move reported by Real Estate News on August 7th. It really underscores how seriously these organizations are taking these legal challenges. We also got an update on the Compass versus NWMLS case, where a request to pause discovery was denied, according to Real Estate News on August 7th. These cases can really shape future practices and compensation models.
Absolutely. And there was also that report on a lender brokerage implicated in an alleged kickback scheme, which Real Estate News covered on August 5th. Just reminds us of the ongoing need for vigilance in compliance and the constant scrutiny within the industry.
Exactly. Okay, so after diving into the broader market and industry shifts, let's bring it back to what this all means for you, whether you're selling your first home or looking to expand your investment portfolio. We've got some really practical insights from this week's sources. If you're looking to sell, Realty Times on August 9th shared 6 surefire ways to get your house sold. It's all about optimizing presentation and strategy.
And part of that is just preparation, right? Realty Times also offered tips on keeping your home show ready at all times. You never know when that right buyer will walk through the door, so being prepared can make all the difference.
For those looking to increase value, RIS Media, on August 7th, suggested 5 home improvements to guarantee a faster sale. These aren't just random fixes. They're strategically chosen renovations that seem to offer the best return on investment for a quick turnaround.
Good point. And don't underestimate the curb appeal. Realty Times on August 4th pointed out how the right landscaping can increase your home's value. It's often the first impression a buyer gets, and it really can boost perceived value.
Now, for buyers and homeowners, there's good news on the financial side. Realty Times on August 5th discussed the tax advantages of buying a home. We're talking about things like the mortgage interest deduction, which can significantly lower your taxable income. Worth looking into.
Definitely. And if you're considering new construction, Keeping Current Matters on August 5th highlighted 3 advantages of buying a newly built home. This often includes things like better energy efficiency, more modern layouts, and fewer immediate maintenance concerns, usually.
Essential for any transaction. Realty Times on August 6th explained what to know about due diligence in real estate. This isn't just a formality, folks. It's your opportunity to uncover any potential issues with a property, structural problems during inspection, title defects before you commit. Crucial step.
So true. We also saw insights on modular homes and accessory dwelling units, ADUs, from Realty Times on August 4th. They offer alternative housing solutions. ADUs in particular seem to be gaining traction as a way to add rental income or maybe accommodate multi-generational living.
And for all you aspiring homeowners out there, Keeping Current Matters on August 4th tackled the truth about down payments. Spoiler, it's not always 20%. There are many programs and options available that can make homeownership more accessible than you might think.
Good to know. And for those facing financial difficulties, Realty Times on August 9th offered advice on what to do if you can't pay your rent. It's an important, sensitive topic, and the article provides practical steps and resources to navigate what can be a really difficult situation.
Looking at home construction trends, Ion Housing on August 8th reported a shift in foundation types in 2024. Apparently, slabs continuing to rise and crawl spaces declining. Might seem granular, but it reflects builders' choices for cost efficiency, speed, and maybe energy performance too.
Interesting detail. And for long-term planning, Keeping Current Matters on August 6th explored how a second home might be the missing piece in your retirement plan. Definitely something to consider, not just for leisure, but potentially for future rental income or even as a future primary residence down the road.
And for investors specifically focused on rentals, Bigger Pockets on August 4th argued why the smarter short-term rental investor will outperform everyone else. This often means leveraging dynamic pricing tools, focusing on unique guest experiences, and really understanding local regulations to maximize those returns.
Right, being savvy. And for anyone managing properties, Canadian Real Estate Magazine on August 8th provided valuable information on what landlord insurance covers. It's essential to protect your investment, right? Understanding the nuances of liability and property damage is critical.
Absolutely. So to round out our deep dive, let's take a quick look at global real estate. Trends elsewhere can often be a glimpse into the future or offer lessons for our own markets. In Canada, there's a strong call for all municipalities to embrace new housing legislation, reported by Canadian Real Estate Magazine on August 8th. This push aims to streamline development and address supply issues, similar to challenges we see elsewhere.
And in what sounds like a forward-thinking initiative, Canadian Real Estate Magazine also discussed on August 8th how some are considering helping children buy a home. It really highlights the significant affordability challenges for younger generations in many markets and maybe some creative policy solutions being explored.
Yeah. We also saw brief market updates from Canadian Real Estate Magazine for July 2025 data covering Yukon, Mississauga, and Vancouver on August 8th, 6th, and 4th, respectively. Each gives a localized snapshot of a dynamic national market up there.
And for rental investors in Canada, the furnished executive rentals market is evolving, as noted by Canadian Real Estate Magazine on August 4th. Sounds like a growing niche driven by corporate relocations and maybe more flexible work arrangements.
Shifting over to Asia, CNBC reported on August 8th that an Indian real estate developer, Sri Lotus, is going for luxury over volume. That's a fascinating strategy. Suggests a maturing market, maybe, with demand for high-end differentiated properties rather than just mass development.
Interesting pivot. In Hong Kong, CNBC on August 6th highlighted how retail tenants are adapting to changing spending patterns. So this means a move away from traditional shopping towards more experiential offerings or adapting store formats to align better with online purchasing habits. Makes sense.
And on the financial front, CNBC on August 5th characterized a Beijing bailout for property giants as a pipe dream. This indicates the Chinese government's firm stance on maybe deleveraging the property sector, a potential reluctance to inject massive stimulus. That has ripple effects globally.
Right. Finally, for anyone just curious about living costs, CNBC on August 5th detailed how much it costs to rent a one-bedroom unit across 10 major cities in Asia. It's a clear illustration of the dramatic variations in urban living expenses across the continent. Wow, what a journey. I mean, from the micro level of specific home improvements to the macro level of global markets and that ever-present question of technological shifts with AI, we've really covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. So what does this all mean for you, listening, and for the future of real estate?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it's abundantly clear that the real estate world is incredibly dynamic. It's undergoing some profound shifts. Opportunities certainly exist for those who stay informed and are willing to adapt to these rapid changes, right? But it also underscores the critical importance of thoughtful analysis when you're faced with such a massive volume of information. Knowing which narratives to trust and which trends truly matter is probably more important than ever.
Absolutely. Well said. As you think about all these moving pieces, the rapidly evolving role of AI, the shifts in market dynamics, these global glimpses, what single surprising trend from this deep dive do you believe will have the most significant long-term impact on the real estate market? Something to really chew on.
If you're interested in your own personalized edition of The Wire, please visit us at thewire.fm/custom. We offer market-specific podcasts with all the latest real estate news and market analysis delivered to you weekly or monthly. Own your market with a personalized edition of The Wire, The Week in Real Estate. Thank you for listening.